Hello everybody, this is a video for everybody looking at this is a Whirlpool 50 gallon 40,000 BTU 6 cents water heater, natural gas. We bought this here recently for our old house that we've just purchased recently enough. This cost us I think almost $600, I'm not for sure, but we had to contact our local Lowe's where we got it from. Sorry about the noise, my little ones are stomping upstairs. I had to contact them because when we received it we had 2 cosmetic dents damaging the inside insulation, or smashing it in there, the foam that they use. And we did get a refund for that because we had to have it delivered to the house because didn't have a vehicle to transport it. But I did contact Whirlpool. This unit works extremely well. It is a high efficiency. I did find out our local energy provider, NIPSCO, does provide a $300 rebate for electric. But seeing as this is an older house, it was not set up for electric. But this is an old, we've still got to replace the flue pipe and that because it's a little corroded on the inside. We're still in the process of replacing stuff, but the house is built in the late 40s, so we're going through stuff and finding out what needs fixed and where to start, and we figured we'd start with this. It's in the current standby mode and it's operating normally with the light every 4 seconds, but when it does kick on it is fairly quiet. There's a little bit of noise from the burner, but it's not going to be ultra quiet. We usually leave it on the C or very hot. We do have little ones, but the way this is set up, we've got it up in the house to where they're not going to get burned. It takes quite a while for the cold water to really get up there, or the hot water, excuse me, because the house is running on some older piping. And this water heater works fairly well. We've had it for a while. It works good. There's a little skirt or an air filter on the bottom, like a little skirt, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, it is older. That's the cold water. That's the hot water. Which, yeah, I should have an expansion tank. We haven't bought one yet because we had a hard time getting to the cold water supply, and the pipe is warm, so the water is expanding. I know that. So it's a work in progress. We're just trying to get things done. We put all new pipe and use the natural gas rated Teflon tape, which works really well. So if anybody ever needs to do that, in my opinion, it works good. I don't know. I'm not a master plumber. Excuse the beep. That was the dryer. But this unit works pretty good. It is 50 gallons. Like I said, 40,000 BTUs. We put the pan down there. It's a little dinged up and bent because we were trying to, get it in there, and me and my father put it in there. I did want to put it to where it drains over there, and there's a sump pump underneath that pit cover there, so we could have it drain, but we didn't get that far, and we were going to set it up for the relief valve and all that, which it doesn't have the pipe on there yet. But this, the only thing we've had a problem with is it backdrafts because this is an old house. It's not ready for a high efficiency unit, so we have to work on that. But I turned it on very hot. Evidently it's not really calling for that. But this unit is quite neat because this flue damper, I was hoping it might turn on. This little motorized unit, I am not going to turn it, does turn. It'll turn that unit there 360 degrees, and then it'll kind of open vertically and just sit there, and then that'll vent out. And it works really well. We haven't had any problem except for the backdrafting and that, and we need a few pieces of pipe and that. But this works really well. This is the only gas appliance in the house that is currently running. We have a gas furnace and that's it. But so far, our first gas bill for this unit to run has not came yet. We had an old gas unit in here. It was an old Richmond 40,000 BTU 38 gallon, which would have been probably their equivalent 40 back then. But this unit works really well. It's one of those rated at 0 to 10,100 square foot, and it's natural gas. but it has a 12-year warranty on it. And like I said, we're in the process of getting it all set up and done. We want to put an expansion tank on there, get that done, you know, in case of any warranty issues. But this unit works extremely well. I was hoping it would turn on. It's really quiet. I mean, yeah, it sounds like a jet burner underneath of it. It does make some noise on the burner, but it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to have it totally silent. Even if it was a tankless, it makes some noise. So the only thing on it, well, that's the power cord for everything there, running over to my furnace receptacle for my Bryant furnace there that came with the house. But that's the only place we had to plug it in because, like I said, it's an older house. We're still updating and upgrading electrical and that. But I noticed we did a test on this with a thermometer, and it holds a pretty good temperature. The tank is, even with the cosmetic stuff, we ain't worried about that. This tank holds warm water. We've had, sometimes we'll close all the windows. That's how we're venting. There's a little window open there that leans out. There's actually a couple of them in the basement here. And it will hold water temperature, I'd say, for around 12 plus hours. We've turned it off on a day, went places, went out with family or whatever, and came back and took showers at night. And then the next morning had some warm water left. I mean, it ain't going to be perfect, but it worked pretty good for us. And we had decent warm water and nothing, you know, that would last for a long time. But the unit, I would say, it's probably at least good 2 or 3 inches of foam in there, that polyurethane, or how it's self-expanding, whatever. That's what it looks like. It's a little up here on the tank, but just a little drip of it. But it works really well. And so I figured for anybody who's, you know, considering this, I got it at my local Lowe's in Plymouth, Indiana, and it was, you know, pretty much like this. I mean, it came with a couple pieces of foam piping, insulation and that, and everything on it is pretty easy. The one thing I would recommend people watch out for is this little tiny sensor on the side. You don't want to snap that little sucker. But it works really well. Maybe I can get it to turn on here. Just a second. We'll put it on very hot. Turn on the hot water real quick. Maybe I can get it to kick on real quick. But it does work really well. It kicks on pretty quick. It's quiet. You don't really hear it kick on. I mean, if you're sitting down in the basement where I'm at currently on my computer, I can hear it when it kicks on, of course, yes, but upstairs you don't really hear it. It does have a more baffled sounding burner. You know, it's hidden in that insulation. It works pretty good. Let's see if I can get it to go here. When the light comes on, it blinks every 4 seconds, and to let you know it's running standby is okay. When it kicks on, it has a heartbeat light, and it beats on and off. It's got a little, it's just the way it blinks. Come on. There it goes. Oh. It clicks. You can see the unit in there turning. You can hear a little beeping noise by the thermostat down here. But it is electronic ignition, which is very nice. The old furnace we had the pilot light, so that eliminated some fuel usage. And that's what it does. You've got your heartbeat indicating light, and then on the top you do have, you know, gas light codes to tell you what's wrong or that. But we haven't had any problems with it. I mean, besides what I mentioned earlier in the video, it works really well. It's very quiet. You can turn this all the way to very hot. These settings, I'm not for sure exactly what their temperature ranges are, but if I remember correctly, we tested it on a thermometer. It was around 140, maybe it's a little hotter on these other ones, but it works really well. So for anybody who's looking at this, me and the wife like it, and the kids use it. water plenty because they're only 4 and 7. So I would suggest it for anybody unless you've got another need or something a little bit greater. But thanks for your time. Have a good one. Don't work too hard.